Everybody wants to increase their sales, increase their rank, and decrease their ACoS on Amazon. Today, I'll be showing you 3 simple yet effective PPC strategies that I use to help my ACoS and sales look like this. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Graham Winship, full-time Amazon FBA seller. I've done 7 figures a year over the last 4 years. I've been selling for 6. Amazon PPC is notorious for being complicated and wasteful for beginners. Today, I'm going to show you how to get the most bang for your buck. And if you guys find this stuff valuable, please hit that subscribe and like button. I plan on bringing you guys a ton of free content over the next year. And make sure you guys stick around until the end. I'll be revealing my most valuable strategy. I generate a ton of sales through this with very low spend. So quickly, for those who don't know, I've typed dish drying rack into the search bar, and the first 4 results that come up, they have this little sponsored tag. That means that these sellers have bid and paid Amazon money to have their listings show up here. So these sellers are all paying a lot of money to be at the top of page 1. We have a bit of a different strategy. We're willing to pay a little bit less. We might not show up at the very top of page 1, and therefore we will make less sales because of this, but it's a lot more cost effective. So the goal with PPC is to be bidding enough that you're getting impressions, clicks, and sales, but you can't be spending too much, or of course those sales are not going to be profitable. Quite often the strategy with PPC is not necessarily to be profitable, but to increase your rank by gaining more sales. And so these PPC sales might be break even because you're spending as much on the PPC ads as you're making back in margin. However, every sale increases your rank, which leads to more organic sales, which ultimately makes you real money. Okay, strategy 1. We're here in Campaign Manager. I've hit create campaign. We're brought to this choose your campaign type. What we'll be doing here is doing an exact match campaign for our top 5 keywords. Typically, if you've done your product research well, you should know what your top 5 keywords are. They're typically fairly high search volume, but also extremely relevant to your product. As a general rule of thumb, more broad keywords with more search volume tend to be more expensive. And so if we have a little bit longer keywords that are more exact and targeted to your product, they're typically going to cost less to bid for, but they're also going to convert better because it's a better representation of what your product is. For this example, we will use the dish drying rack. I'm going to go over to sponsored products. This is the place you want to be. Hit continue here. I recently did a video on creating your first PPC campaign, so I'm not going to get as detailed in this one. For this example, we're using the ad group name dish drying rack example exact. Once again, refer to that video. Today, we're going to get into manual targeting in the targeting type. We're going to choose keyword targeting. Then here we hit enter list, deselect broad and phrase. And here's where we can put our keywords that we want to bid on. So like I said, you should already know your top 5 keywords. I've just put in 5 that I think are probably relevant, but you actually need to do the work to find out what you want to be bidding on. At this point, we would hit add keywords. It's now asking me to choose a bid for the products. Typically, Amazon will give a suggested bid. I don't like to follow that. I find that they tend to recommend too high of a bid. For me, I actually like to go a little bit less aggressive. I don't like to waste money. And so I typically start my bids at around 2.1% of whatever the sale price is. You can go up to 5%. I mean, you can go higher if you want. For the sake of not wasting money, I think 2 to 4%, depending on how competitive your niche is a good place to start, and that's of the sale price. So let's say your product is $20 and you're going to go with 4% of that price. That's an 80-cent bid. For example, we'll just do that today. So I might as well round up and do 81 cents. And so now all 5 of these keywords have an 81-cent bid. We'll scroll down here. We don't need to do negative keyword targeting. The campaign bidding strategy, I'm always doing dynamic bids down only. It's just a way for Amazon to spend more of your money if you choose up and down. So we go down only. A lot of other Amazon gurus will recommend that you come in here and add 25% increase to product pages and top of search. I completely disagree with that. I'd rather have complete control over what I'm spending on my ads. And so I keep these at 0%. Like I said, I want control. I want to know what I'm spending on each of these keywords. And I don't want Amazon willy-nilly increasing my bids for me and me not being able to track that. And then once you've completed your campaign name, put it in the appropriate portfolio if you wish. Make sure the start date is today. You do want to adjust your daily budget. For me, typically I'll start a new campaign at like 20 or 30 bucks, but it completely depends on how competitive your niche is. Some of you guys might be selling in niches where you can't spend more than $5 in a day. And then there's other niches out there that are super competitive where you could spend $1,000 in a day. So it just caps and limits your risk on spending too much money. Then you can hit launch campaign and your ads will be live. So yes, it is that easy to launch a campaign, but you need to monitor this. Sometimes you're going to get no impressions and no spend, and sometimes you're going to spend way too much. That's why we put the budget in, but you need to be monitoring this constantly. PPC is not a set it and forget it thing. It's constantly evolving, so make sure you're not wasting money. Okay, strategy 2 is finding keywords that we're not currently ranking well for and then bidding on them. So the vast majority of sales happen on page 1. If our product is ranking, say 30th to 50th for a certain keyword, we're probably not getting any impressions or sales for that keyword. So what we want to do is identify where we're ranked, maybe page 2, and start bidding on those keywords to increase our rank. So obviously you have your product, but I'm just going to use an example product. So we're using this dish drying rack. I'm going to click on the Helium 10 extension here. I have a discount code in the description. I'm just going to pretend that this ASIN is my own. Obviously, like I said, you have your own ASIN that you'll do your own research on. I'm going to hit the selection box here and go run Cerebro. So this pulled that ASIN into Cerebro. If you have your own product, you can just head over to Cerebro on Helium 10 and plug in your ASIN, and then we're gonna adjust these filters. Cerebro has given us a list of keywords that this product, this ASIN is ranking for. I've then gone and adjusted the organic rank to be between 30 and 50. So every place that we're ranking 30th to 50th on the page, it's going to filter out for us now. So this product is ranking in the 30th to 50 spots for 221 filtered keywords. I've sorted by search volume, so in descending order by search volume. And we're going to go through and make sure that these keywords are applicable to our product. They need to be relevant enough, and we need to view them as important to getting sales for our product. And ultimately, we're going to start bidding on these keywords. So clearly, keywords such as dish drainer and drying rack kitchen are applicable, but one that I might exclude would be drain board. I think that's much less likely to convert. And so what you can do is export this data to a Google Sheet, and then it's easy to copy and paste or delete the non-relevant keywords, but you're essentially just going to get a list of the keywords that have good enough search volume, they're relevant to your product, and you want to rank for them. And we're going to grab that list and basically copy and paste the strategy that we did in strategy 1. So once again, you're throwing those in an exact match campaign. You have probably a fairly good sized keyword list that you just got from Cerebro. You're placing a bid that's maybe 3% of your sales price, maybe 2% if you want to save money, and you're just going to run that campaign just as you did with the last one. Keep in mind, you got to be careful about budget. So this is a great way to boost your rank for keywords that you might be ranking on page 2. And then if you're able to bump those up to page 1 through the use of PPC and start getting sales on those keywords, yeah, you'll inevitably go up the page. And then you might start to also organically rank higher for these keywords, gaining you more sales in the long run. A couple quick things to remember is you don't want to be double bidding on keywords. So if you already have these keywords in a different campaign, then you should exclude them. And secondly, not every bid needs to be the exact same for all these keywords. If over time you're noticing that certain keywords aren't getting impressions, you can always raise the bid. And if you're spending too much money or you have too high of an ACOS, you can lower the bid. So if you want to prioritize certain keywords by bid, you can adjust those as needed, but stick to the same guidelines as we've already talked about. And so the last strategy that we're going to talk about today is one that is extremely powerful. It's actually quite counterintuitive, and I've learned it from some other Amazon experts. You can see here that I call it a catch-all auto. That's what it's typically referred to as. In just over 2 months, it's generated over $1,100 in sales by only spending $100. And some people even have better results than myself with this. Essentially, you're just throwing every product in your catalog into a specific type of campaign. And like I said, counterintuitive, but I'll show you guys how to do it and it will get you impressive results. So here's how we do it. We're in the Amazon ads platform. We go to create campaign. Once again, sponsored products, hit continue. Add group name. Like I said, I covered that in another video. You can go check it out. So here is your products that you're going to add to this campaign. Like I said, we're going to add them all. So you can go manually and hit add on all of them. You can upload an ASIN list if you have that handy, but essentially get them all added to this one campaign. For targeting type, we're doing automatic targeting. Now the default bid, this is where the magic happens. You want a very low bid and you never want to increase this. So set it somewhere between 5 to maybe 15 cents, depending on how expensive your product is. It would adjust throughout that range. I think mine are set at like 12 cents per bid and it's extremely profitable. Now for negative keyword targeting, keep in mind that this does apply to every single product in your catalog. But if you know that there are some keywords that you absolutely do not want to bid on because they are completely ineffective, you could add them here. Scrolling down now to the campaign bidding strategy. As always, I recommend dynamic bids down only. I just think it gives you the most control over your bidding. And then for settings, name it however you want. I just call it catch-all auto. Start date today with no end date. You don't need to put it in a portfolio. And then for daily budget, this is for you to decide. You basically will be always running profitably. So in my opinion, budget doesn't have to be as strict. I like to go for well above what I'm currently spending on an average day. So maybe that's $50, maybe that's $100. But keep in mind, I mean, this is likely to be profitable. So every additional sale you're never going to be upset with, which can be different than other types of PPC campaigns. And that's pretty much it. Hit launch campaign, and hopefully now you'll be making a bunch of highly profitable sales that will help boost your ranking. So those are my 3 most effective strategies for simple PPC bidding. They're all going to help you increase your sales, increase your rank, and lower your ACoS. And as we all know, increasing your rank results in more organic sales, which means more profit for you. Keep in mind that you constantly need to be optimizing these. These are not a set it and forget it situation. You need to be constantly upping and lowering your bids based on their performance. And if you're still feeling overwhelmed by the complexity of PPC, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section below and I'll respond to you directly. I also have a done for you Amazon agency where I can help set up and maintain your PPC campaigns for you and take all the headache away, bring my 6 years of experience to you and help you run more profitable ads. If you're interested, feel free to reach out and we can book a call. That's all for now. Subscribe if you guys are new here as I continue to bring free value. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.